Alright guys, freshly out of the shower am I. And here's the gear for Austere August. We have Chiseled Face, Midnight Stag, as the soap, splash, and cologne, the EDP as well. The Nacet, which is at 65. Yeah, 465 uses is today's count. For today will make it that many. We'll be using the Timeless Open Comb, 68 gap stainless steel razor, the Semogue handled SOC. The Semogue Owners Club is the name of that one. It's a pretty famous brush, spoken of a lot. Maybe more than about any other Owners Club, any other Semogue that I can think of. And so it's well known and for good reason. It's if you like a big bloom, if you like kind of comfort, it's one of those that's going to be good for you. If you like a lot of stiffness, if you like a lot of backbone, then it's not going to be one for you, as best as I can tell. Unless you did something like only soak the bottom half of the bristles, or just the tips part of the bristles, or something like that. That would give you more backbone. The blade here is the Nacet. It started its journey, I think, in 2018 in this very bathroom. And in a couple of months, we might have this house sold. So, bye-bye that. N1 is the etchings, and we got the Sharpie dot there. A little bend in the blade down here to kind of tell you it's the same one I've been using. It has worked out. I did not have a chance to pre-test the Nacet blade before I jumped into Austere August, intending then to use the same razor and blade all month. And I decided to give the Timeless a try, and it has worked out well. It's been a good choice. 10 swirls is what I did last time. Let's do the same thing again. Shake out a lot of the water. It's been soaking 15 minutes at least, so should be nice and soft for me. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I ended up with 4 passes of lather last time. Maybe with an extra pass. Yeah, so I probably ended up technically with 5 passes, but I like to have that last one as kind of margin. And sure enough, even last time it did not look like there was a whole bunch of soap on the brush. But you can watch right now, and the little bubbles will just happen. With just this amount of water, we're not going to see a lot of volume, with just what we had in the brush. And it will increase once we start adding some water. I think I used about 15 milliliters last time. Let's go ahead and just pour that in. I think it was 16 technically, but we'll just try 15. And I believe it probably could have used a little bit more water last time. But I just decided to kind of go with it. You can hear it change and get more muffled as the lather gathers density. Kind of bubbly right now, but that's okay. We'll just give it a little bit of elbow grease. Maybe I put too much water in it. Maybe 10 is not quite enough. Who knows? Yeah, the bubbles are starting to disappear, so that looks right. Most of those same types of bubbles are gone. Those 10 little swirls. Would you have thought that 10 swirls would have given you this much lather? It's not tons, but it's plenty to get the job done here. You've seen me in my big bowl here regularly generate way too much lather, much more than I need. Get my face wet. And here we go. Yeah, see the brush is starting to lose some of that firmness to some of the tips. So obviously during this month they have split, and it has changed the feel. It is noticeable. It's not really noticeable each day if you're only to think of the day before, but part of what I do is make notes, and by doing that I remember sometimes what I wrote. Especially in this case, I wanted to see if there was some kind of change, and so I recorded and thought about the feeling of the brush at the beginning of the month. Now it still has a ways to go. I firmly believe it's going to get even softer, and I don't think it's a floppy brush at this point. But it's very comfortable to use. The amount of scrub it gives on your face is very gentle. There are definitely Badger brushes that are going to feel softer, so it's not competing with any of those yet. Will it ever? I don't know. I've heard some people claim that it will. I have yet to substantiate that myself. Because after all, when all the tips have split, right? That's kind of the question. What does it feel like then? About a day of growth, so it should be a pretty uneventful shave in terms of blade feel and things like that. It's not a very slick lather here, and so I think this is one that is showing off the weaknesses of this particular formula, and then I probably need to have it be a little drier. A little too thin. Under my chin. That's often where it skips if my lather is too wet, too thin. It skips right there. That's usually, if I don't know already, that reminds me, hey, maybe next time don't add quite as much water. So adding the 15, and this time I'm not even going to rinse my face, and maybe that'll help to lather be a little more slick, relying more on this soapy parts of the lather. But the beard continues to come down, and this is the very comfortable type of pass here by the third one. It's really just crazy to think that the blade with 465 uses is still cutting hairs. Let me rinse. Even if it wasn't cutting them closely, it's still cutting them because it's the only blade I'm using this month. And by virtue of the fact that I don't have a bunch of hairs on my face that you can see, we know they're being cut down at some point by this blade. Go ahead and do a fourth pass. And those three little swirls still have another pass of lather after the fourth one has been applied. So I believe the 10 swirls is probably a good idea, just maybe not quite as much water next time. And this one should really feel nice and comfy. Cross grain is what this is on my cheeks. Since I know I'm going to make about 4 passes, I'm not, especially on the second and first pass, I'm not really worried about missing patches. So if you go over an area and maybe you missed it, maybe you didn't, just do what you want to, but feel free to just keep moving, because even if you're just a 3-pass shaver, the other passes are likely to take good care of it. I just don't stress about it. And there we go, nice close shave. Get a good rinse now. Not a lot of scent in the lather itself here. It is an older soap in terms of age. But of course, if we're doing just 3 swirls, we're not putting a lot of potent scent in the whole mix in the first place, right? But this was one that was a little too wet. It was definitely not in my perfect zone, if you will. And so I will maybe try to remember to maybe start out with 10 milliliters next time if I do this same method. And now I'm just rinsing the brush in the bowl, giving it a good workout. Bowl is nice for that. You don't have to do the fill and squeeze if you don't have a bowl. And there we go. One thing I have noticed this month, this is how it dries. In fact, it might actually dry just a little bigger, and we'll have these outlying bristles that are coming out at a definitely nothing like a straight out angle. And I have heard little breaking noises as I have taken the dry brush to squeeze it together before the shave to put it in my soak cup. Squeeze it in so that it fits in. When I heard those ticks, I was curious. For years, I thought that was just the bristles kind of how they were clumped before, and then they unclumped. You know, it's just a sound of unclumping. But this month, as I've noticed, many of my shaves, I lost a bristle. So I start to think, maybe that ticking, that noise is a bristle breaking because they're pointing off at an angle, and so I'm bending them when I shouldn't be. And so over maybe the last week, and before I put it in my soak cup, I'll put it under the water spray and rotate it to get all this outside wet before I squeeze it to put it in the cup. And I've had less bristles come out during the shave that way. I've had several shaves where there was no bristle to come out. And so maybe that was the breaking of a bristle. I don't know. I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to keep pre-wetting it. And you may only have to worry about that on brushes like this that have a built-in angle. The bristles that are mounted in the knot on the outside have a predefined angle put into them in the knot instead of just coming out straight. And if you have a brush like that, then that might be good advice for you. We'll see if that, I wonder if that holds true for you. If you do notice it, let me know. We can see if it's a consistent thing. Midnight Stash. Midnight Stash. Ah, Midnight Stag. Chiseled face. Aftershave. It does have menthol in it. While the soap and the lather may not have given me much jolt of the Midnight Stag scent, this definitely does. But the menthol is kind of first, and that's, to me, that's kind of disappointing. I wish he made a version of this that did not have the menthol, because I don't really like the scent of the menthol. I mean, I'm glad it goes away after a while, but then also the potency of the Midnight Stag itself, or whatever else. Whatever other scent you have, potency is not as strong after that. And so it's like I feel like I'm missing out on this aftershave's prime of life. You know what I'm saying? So 15 milliliters of water used. That was a little too much. The Nacet blade does clock in another shave. Gently pat him dry on the washcloth over there. And the 3 second, I don't even know if it's 3 seconds, maybe it's just 2 seconds. The 10 swirl method seems to be about right. Might be a little on the skimpy side. I'm going to try it with less water next time, and then maybe the time after that I'll try it with 12 swirls or something like that. I'll increase the soap gathering. All right, very good, very good. Stuff is packed up, and now we'll just apply the Stag. The menthol is still around on my face. Fortunately, it's not providing too much sting that I don't enjoy the burn. It doesn't feel like a cooling sensation to me generally, and so that's why I avoid menthol usually, but the amount here, I've just kind of gotten used to it over the years. It's not as bad. Oh yeah, it does look like maybe I got a little poison ivy right here today. That's why I came in and jumped in the shower. I was out working in the lawn and I felt an itching on my arm, and I knew I'd been spraying some poison ivy, and so I decided better safe than sorry. Let's stop everything, go inside and take a shower. Then I thought, hey, while I'm in here, I might as well do my shave. And so yeah, I've got a raised area on my arm, and so that's very good that I came in. I maybe have avoided a couple of weeks of really annoying itching. All right, there we go. That's it for today's shave. I sure hope this journey is interesting for some of you folks who tune in every once in a while to watch the Nacet do its thing. It just keeps on going. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. You guys take care. Have a good day.